Why do some people feel more bloated, heavy, or sluggish after eating nuts in their 60s, even though they were fine in their 30s? We've all heard that nuts are healthy, good for the heart, packed with protein, full of good fats. But after 60, your body starts reacting differently. Your digestion slows, your teeth aren't what they used to be, and that innocent handful of almonds? It might be doing more than you think. You see, the truth is, the way your body processes nuts changes with age. What used to be energizing might now cause stomach trouble. That healthy snack might quietly interfere with your medications. And yes, some types can even block mineral absorption or raise your risk of choking if you're not careful. If you've ever felt uncomfortable after eating nuts, this video is for you. We'll reveal the surprising effects nuts have on your digestion, brain, weight, and bones after 60, and how to still enjoy them safely without hurting your health. So before you reach for that next trail mix, stay with me. Because after this, you may never look at that healthy handful the same way again. 1. Why whole nuts become a hidden choking risk after 60. You've eaten nuts your whole life, no problem. But now, you chew a little slower. You hesitate before swallowing. Maybe you've even coughed mid-bite, then waved it off like it's nothing. But here's the truth. After 60, your body changes in ways that make whole nuts quietly risky, even dangerous. It starts with your teeth. As we age, dental wear, missing molars or dentures make it harder to chew thoroughly. That almond might feel crunchy and satisfying, but if it's not broken down enough, it travels down as a choking hazard. And then there's your swallowing reflex. For seniors with dry mouth, Parkinson's, or even just mild dysphagia, swallowing becomes slower, weaker, and more prone to error. A whole cashew might slip the wrong way, and that small snack suddenly becomes a medical emergency. These are things we rarely talk about, but they're real. Emergency room visits for choking increase sharply after age 65, and whole nuts are one of the top culprits. But don't worry, this doesn't mean you have to give them up. You just need to change the form. Try nut butters, ground nuts in oatmeal or sliced versions sprinkled over yogurt. You'll still get the benefits without the risk. If you've ever felt uneasy swallowing nuts or avoided them without knowing why, comment 1 below. And in the next part, we'll talk about how something as small as a walnut can throw your digestion off for hours. 2. The tiny snack that can leave you bloated for hours. You feel it after the meal, a strange tightness in your belly, gurgling, gas, maybe even cramps. You didn't eat that much, just a few nuts. So why do you feel so heavy? Here's what most people over 60 don't know. Your digestive system isn't built to handle nuts the same way anymore. When we're younger, our stomach acids are stronger. Our teeth break food down better, but after 60, things slow down. Chewing isn't as effective, especially with dental problems or dentures, and nuts, especially almonds, walnuts, or macadamias, are hard. If you don't break them down completely, they pass through your gut partially digested, scraping, irritating, and fermenting inside you. And then there's the fiber. Yes, fiber is good, but only in the right amount. For seniors with sensitive guts, like IBS or diverticulitis, the high fiber content in nuts can trigger bloating, constipation, or even painful flare-ups. That handful of cashews, it may not just be a snack. It could be the reason you can't sleep that night. It doesn't mean nuts are bad. It means your body has changed, and ignoring that change can lead to days of discomfort. So what's the fix? Go softer. Try smooth nut butters, roasted slivers, or even blending them into smoothies. Same nutrients, no gut war. If you've ever felt bloated after eating nuts, comment 2 below. And in the next section, we'll talk about something even more serious: how nuts could quietly interfere with your medication. 3. How one nut could quietly undo your medication. You might not think twice about it, grabbing a handful of mixed nuts while watching TV. Maybe even adding some cashews to your salad. It feels healthy, safe, familiar. But if you're over 60 and taking a blood thinner like warfarin, that handful might be doing more than you realize. Some nuts, especially cashews, are naturally high in vitamin K, a nutrient that plays a direct role in blood clotting. And that's where the concern begins. Blood thinners like warfarin depend on a stable level of vitamin K in your diet. Too much, too little, or sudden changes in intake can quietly interfere with how your medication works. You may not feel anything at first, but over time, it could show up in your blood tests, or in unexplained bruises. Or worse, it could raise your risk of clotting or bleeding without warning. This doesn't mean you have to stop eating nuts. It just means you need to be consistent and aware. If you've recently added nuts into your routine, especially in large amounts, your doctor needs to know. A change in your snack could mean a change in your dosage. The nutrients in nuts are powerful, and at our age, even the good stuff can become a problem if we're not paying attention. If you take any heart or blood medication, comment 3 below. Next, we'll uncover how some nuts may block your bones from getting the minerals they desperately need. 4. Are nuts quietly stealing nutrients from your bones? You eat well, you take your supplements, you try to stay active. So why do your bones still ache more than they used to? Why is your doctor suddenly worried about your iron or calcium levels? Here's a quiet truth not many talk about. Nuts contain something called phytate. It's a natural compound found in many plant-based foods, including almonds, walnuts, and peanuts. And while phytate isn't harmful in itself, it has a hidden downside. It can bind to essential minerals like calcium, iron, and zinc, making it harder for your body to absorb them. Now, if you're eating a varied diet and your gut's working well, it may not be a big issue. But after 60, things change. Your digestion slows, your stomach acid drops, and your body, already absorbing fewer nutrients, can't afford to lose more. Over time, this could quietly lead to deficiencies that weaken your bones, dull your energy, or impair your immune function. And if you're vegetarian or rely heavily on plant foods, the effect may be even stronger. Now, that doesn't mean nuts are bad, but it does mean you shouldn't overdo them. Balance is key. Pair your nuts with vitamin C-rich fruits to help iron absorption. Include animal protein when possible. And if you're concerned, talk to your doctor about testing your mineral levels. Because sometimes it's not what you're missing, it's what's being blocked. Comment 4 below if you've ever wondered why your labs don't match your diet. And next, we'll talk about one more risk. So small, so hidden, you'd never know it's growing in your snack jar. 5. The invisible toxin that could be hiding in your nuts. You buy your nuts from a trusted brand. They look clean, taste fresh. But here's something most people don't realize. Some nuts can carry a toxin you can't see, smell, or taste, called aflatoxin. It's produced by certain molds that grow in warm, humid conditions. And while the FDA regulates levels in food, small amounts can still be present, especially in improperly stored peanuts, pistachios, or... For most people, the risk is extremely low. But if you're over 60, and especially if you have weakened immunity or liver issues, even low-level exposure can be more harmful over time. Aflatoxins have been linked to liver stress and, in rare cases, long-term toxicity. The damage doesn't happen all at once, but it can quietly build. This doesn't mean you need to avoid nuts completely, but it does mean you should be a little more careful with how and where you store them. Keep them in airtight containers. Store them in the fridge or freezer if you live in a warm climate. And when in doubt, if they smell stale or taste bitter, throw them out. The benefits of nuts still far outweigh the risks. But as we age, we can't afford to overlook the small things. If you've ever kept nuts in the pantry for a little too long, comment 5 below. Next, we'll bring everything together and talk about how to enjoy nuts safely, wisely, and confidently after 60. 6. when a handful becomes too much. It usually starts small, a few cashews after lunch, a second handful during your favorite show, then some mixed nuts before bed. Because they're healthy, right? Nuts have a reputation for being heart-smart and full of good fats. And that's true. But what most people don't realize is that they're also extremely calorie-dense, some packing over 200 calories in a single handful. And after 60, when metabolism naturally slows and activity levels drop, those calories don't burn off like they used to. Instead, they quietly build up, not as fat you can see, but weight that shows up in your joints, your blood sugar, and how tired you feel day to day. What makes it tricky is that nuts don't feel indulgent. They're small, natural, crunchy, but they're also easy to overeat, especially when you graze without noticing. And over time, even a modest daily surplus can tip the scale in the wrong direction. This doesn't mean you have to fear nuts. It just means they need to fit your current energy needs. For some seniors, that means pre-portioning. For others, swapping to lower-calorie options like pistachios, or using nuts as meal toppers rather than snacks. Because after 60, nutrition isn't just about what's healthy, it's about what's appropriate for your body. If you've noticed weight creeping up despite eating clean, comment 6 below. Next, let's talk about something you can't taste or see, but it can quietly erode your mineral levels day by day. 7. Different effect. Why a nut is not just a nut after 60. We tend to think a nut is a nut. Whether you chew it whole or spread it on toast, it must be doing the same thing inside your body, right? Not exactly. Because after 60, your body doesn't absorb nutrients the same way it used to. And with nuts, that difference can be bigger than you'd expect. You see, whole nuts, like almonds or walnuts, have dense cell walls that trap the nutrients inside. When your chewing power declines with age, or you've got dentures, you might not break them down enough to unlock what's inside. The result? Much of the fat, protein, and vitamins pass through your system undigested. But when that same nut is roasted, chopped, or ground into a butter or smoothie, your body can access those nutrients far more efficiently. It's not just easier to chew, it's easier to absorb. And for seniors, that matters more than ever. Especially if you're dealing with weight loss, muscle loss, or poor appetite, getting the most out of every bite is critical. Smooth nut butters, milks, or blended shakes aren't just convenient, they can be a smarter form of fuel. So while the nut might look the same, your body sees it differently now. If you've switched to softer foods in recent years, you're already ahead. Comment 7 below if this helped. Connect the dots. In the next part, we'll talk about how nuts, despite being healthy, can sometimes kill your appetite when your body actually needs more food. 8. The healthy snack that may be silencing your appetite. You think you're doing something good for your body, you grab a handful of nuts, maybe almonds or walnuts, between meals, just enough to hold you over. And then, you're not hungry for dinner. It might not seem like a problem, but for many older adults, that missing meal matters more than they realize, because after 60, loss of appetite becomes more common and consistent. Nutrient-rich meals are harder to come by. Nuts are filling. That's part of what makes them healthy. They're dense, chewy, high in protein, and rich in fats that slow digestion. But that same power, when timed poorly, can backfire. If you snack on nuts right before a meal, they may displace other foods your body needs more of. You feel full quickly, but don't get enough overall calories, protein, or variety to maintain muscle, energy, or immune strength. It's not about avoiding nuts, it's about when and how you eat them. The solution? Use nuts as between-meal snacks, not part of or right before your main meals. Or blend them into shakes if you need nutrition without the heavy fullness. The goal isn't to stop eating, it's to keep your appetite working in your favor. If you've ever felt too full after just a few nuts, or skipped a meal because of it, comment 8 below. And now let's bring everything together. How to enjoy nuts without letting them sneak up on your health. And here we go again with the reminder. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. The content is based on current scientific research and expert guidance as of April 2025, including evidence from public health sources, clinical reviews, and nutritional studies related to older adults and nut consumption. While nuts offer many health benefits, the risks discussed, such as allergies, choking hazards, digestive discomfort, medication interactions, and nutrient absorption concerns, may apply more to individuals over the age of 60 or those with specific health conditions. This video is not intended to replace professional medical advice. Always consult your doctor, dietitian, or healthcare provider before making dietary changes, especially if you have chronic health issues, take prescription medications, or are managing age conditions. We believe that with the right knowledge, you can enjoy the benefits of nuts while minimizing the risks. Every person's body is different, and informed decisions are the best ones. Now, before we go any further, let's be clear about something. This video isn't here to scare you off nuts or tell you what you can and can't eat. It's here to give you honest information, based on research, especially what we now know about how nuts interact with the body after age 60. But just like any health advice, this isn't one size fits all. What works for one person might not be right for another, especially if you're taking medications, managing health conditions, or have food allergies. So if you're thinking of making changes to your diet after watching this, make sure to talk with your doctor or a registered dietitian first. They know your body, your history, and what's safe for you. Think of this video as a conversation starter, not a prescription. Because at this stage in life, it's not just about eating healthy, it's about eating smart, for the body you have now, not the one you had 20 years ago. Alright, now let's wrap this up the right way. The rules have changed, so should the way you eat nuts. You've taken care of yourself for years. You've chosen good foods, you've stayed active, and you've always believed that nuts are one of the healthiest things you can eat. And they still are. But after 60, the rules change. Your digestion slows, your medications interact, your bones need more support, and your appetite sometimes works against you. And nuts? That same little snack can now cause bloating, weight gain, mineral loss, or even interfere with your meds, without you ever realizing it. That's the part many people miss. These changes don't scream, they creep. One skipped meal here, one bruising issue there, one lab result was just slightly off, until suddenly, it's not so small anymore. But here's the thing, you didn't do anything wrong. You're not broken, your body's just different now, and it deserves a different approach. So eat nuts, but eat them smarter, softer forms, smaller portions, better timing, more variety. That's not a restriction, that's respect for the body you've earned. If any part of this video spoke to you, comment the number that hit home. Share this with someone over 60. You could save them weeks or years of silent discomfort. And if you believe growing older should come with better answers, not more confusion, subscribe to HEALZO, where we grow wiser, one bite at a time.